Hello everyone, my name is Daniela and this is my June wrap-up and July TBR video. So this month was quite a good reading month for me because I actually read 10 books. Well, no, it's more like 9.5 because I didn't finish one. And yeah, some of these were like really short books, but still it's almost 10 books, and that's more than I ever read in 1 month. So without further ado, I get to the books I read this month. So the first one I didn't actually read. It was an audiobook I listened to, and that was Sapphire Blue by Kirsten Gier. This is the German version. I did have the audiobook was also in German. I think I'm still gonna have to read the book again because I think audiobooks just not my thing, because like after 10 minutes or so I kind of started to fall asleep and I just couldn't concentrate on what they were talking about. So I don't really know yet what this book is about, because yeah, I just can't remember it with the audiobook. So I might going to reread this, and I got the library copy so I can maybe finally get done with this book. Then the second book I read was a graphic novel. I don't have that copy anymore because it was from the library, and it was Percy Jackson by Rick Riordan. I don't know the title in English, I will put it down here. It was the one with the Cyclops, I think. This was actually my first graphic novel that I read, and I didn't really like it, but I think it's more because I actually knew the story, that what was going to happen, and because I've seen the movie. But I feel like if you didn't see the movie, if you didn't know what the book was about, you wouldn't have gotten the whole story. I think they missed a lot of things. So yeah, I didn't really like it. So yeah. The good thing is I read through it in half an hour. So yeah. Then the next book, that's the one I didn't finish, even though I started with this in June, and that's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. I read or wanted to read this book because the movie was coming out this month, and yeah, you can see I got only like halfway through. I had a really hard time with the English, and I just thought this story was so freaking boring. I don't know, nothing happens. From time to time they throw in like something for the zombie story, but it just feels wrong. It doesn't really belong in this book, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I stopped reading it, and I was gonna go see the movie. And that's another story, because they kept pushing back the publishing date for the movie. First it was supposed to come out on May 5th, I think, and they pushed it back and back and back till the 16th of June. And then finally it was the 16th, and I thought, yeah, I can go see the movie. So 2 weeks later, like this Wednesday, my friend and I went to the theater and wanted to go see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. So we went there to the cash register and asked the lady for tickets, and she went like, oh, it's not running anymore. You can't go see it anymore. And we were like, what? It just came out. You kidding? So we actually missed the movie. So yeah. We went to see Me Before You instead, which is a totally different story, because I'm not sure if I liked it or not. So yeah. I actually read a book, or tried to read a book for a movie I couldn't see. Yeah, great. So the next book I read was The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. It was a nice read. I honestly don't really remember anymore what it's about, so yeah, it didn't really stick with me. I even gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but I think I'm gonna only give it 3. I'm gonna have to take one off because yeah, it didn't really stick with me, so I guess it wasn't really that good, so yeah. Then the next book that I read was The Captive Prince by C.S. Packet. I can't spell this, can't say this name. I really liked this book, even though at the first Or first I was really shocked with some sex practices they had in this book. I didn't really expect that. But the cool thing in this book was the intrigues that were going on in this court, in this royal court. So I'm really gonna go get the second book for this and finish the trilogy. Then the next book is also a graphic novel. I got this for $1 and I thought, yeah, well, I gave it a try. And that's the Twilight graphic novel volume 1. That's the first half of the Twilight movie. And I really, really liked it, actually. I think they're really doing it good. I even like the illustrations. So yeah, I somehow feel like I have to get the volume 2, but I don't really want to spend like $15 on the second volume if I got this for $1. So I think I'm just gonna wait till I find it somewhere really cheap. Then my next book was a German book I read, even though the book also is available in English and it's the same title. It's Beautiful Bastard. I knew there was gonna be a lot of sex in this book, but I was still surprised to have like really bad sex on every second page. I liked the story though. It's kind of like 50 Shades of Grey, but in this book here, the woman actually has some real good character. She knows what she wants to do. She's ambitious. So the woman and the man are like really on the same level. So yeah, so I like the story. Maybe a bit too much sex for my taste, but really good book though. Then the next one is also a German book. I'm not gonna talk about this too much because there's no English edition. That's Reisen with Russen, Traveling with Russians. That's about this German woman who gets married to a Russian man, and then they go on a second honeymoon because their marriage is not really going well. And then suddenly he disappears, and she has to go find him, and like goes on a real odyssey with her mother-in-law to find her husband. Then the next book I read was The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I really, really liked this book. I even cried at the end, so I gave it 5 stars. And I really want to go read the second and the third book. I actually have to wait for the second book to come out as a paperback, so yeah, I have to wait till, I think till fall for it to come out. I really, really liked it. This is about this girl who runs away from her wedding, and then there's 2 men chasing after her. One is the prince she left at the wedding, and the other one is an assassin that comes to kill her. And you don't know which one is which. At least that's what it says. Because I feel like you find out pretty fast who is who. And that's a bit... I thought it was gonna take me longer to figure out which one is which. But I still liked it because even though it's another love triangle, I think it's really made in a good way. And I also just love this cover because the atmosphere on this cover just feels like, so it gives you like this longing feeling, and I just love it. So 5 stars for this book. Then my last book for the month of June is The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I really, really like this too. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5. I didn't give it 5 stars because it didn't make me cry, even though it has like good scenes that could make you cry. I really like the world building in this book because there's like these red bloods and the silver bloods, and the silver bloods, they have these superpowers. They can like make plants grow, or they can manipulate water or metal and stuff, and the reds don't. So they are like the lower ones, and the silvers are the better ones, the royal ones. And then comes this girl, which is a red blood, but also has superpowers, and that's not really in the interest of the silvers. And what I also liked about this book, it really takes a lot of twists and turns in the plot. It's like when you finally feel like you know what's going on, then it turns around totally 180 degrees. So you never really know if that what you think is real now is really real. So I really like this one too. Yeah, so that was it for my June wrap up. I think it was a really good reading month for me. There's only one book I didn't get to read on my June TBR, and that is Dune by Carrie Carp and Laurie Langdon. I'm not gonna include this in my July TBR because I just don't feel like reading it this month. And yeah, with this we get to my July TBR. So the first book on my July TBR was A Monster Calls. And this was an absolutely awesome book. I didn't really expect it to be this good. I liked the illustrations in it. It was really cool. They really fit the story. And also because they're in black and white, they really go with the feel of the story. It's absolutely awesome. And at the end it really made me cry so hard. I see it's gonna be a movie sometime soon. I'm not sure if I'm going to see this because I just don't really like crying in the theater. But I really like this book, so I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then the second book I want to read this month, and which I have already started with, is Illuminae. I'm somewhere on page 120. I'm liking it so far, even though I find it quite hard to get along with all these different kinds of files and stuff. It's just not like this any normal book, so I'm not sure if I'm really gonna like it a lot, so yeah. But I'm still really excited to read this now. Then my next book I want to read this month is Ivory and Bone by Julie Ashball. That's from the Fairy Loot box I got in June. And I want to buddy read this with my Fairy Loot buddy, because you get this little card with a hashtag on it, so you can find a reading buddy to read this book. And I already found mine. He lives in Washington, so that's really cool. And he's even the same age as me. I was like thinking I get someone really young and I feel like really old, but he's actually a couple years older than me even, so I'm really looking forward to this one too. Then the next one I want to read this month is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I don't really even know what this is about. I just really like the cover. And since I really love lavender, I also want to read it because it says lavender on it. Then the next book is Hexed by Michelle Chris. I just don't know what these books are about, pretty much that I want to read, but I like to go into book blind, so I don't have any like feelings already beforehand, so yeah, this one feels like something I want to read this month. Then the next book is my German book. I feel like I have to read at least one German book a month because I have quite a lot of German books at home, and if I don't read them, or at least read one a month, I'm not going to read them at all. So I want to read this one here, which is actually translated into Firestorm by Laura Bickle. Is there actually a... the original title in English is Sparks. So yeah, I'm gonna read this one too here. Then if I may still feel like it, or I'm not gonna read this in this book in this order, but I also try to read the Shatter Me trilogy by Tahara Mafi. That's only like a really small part I know what this book is about. I know that the touch of this girl that these books are about is like lethal, it can kill, but that's pretty much all I know. So yeah, I want to try to read this whole trilogy because I just like to marathon a trilogy if I have all books of them here. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books for my July TBR. I hope I can get through with them because starting next week, we have our summer break from school, and next week we're going to go to Vienna for 1 week with the kids for a long city trip, and I'm really looking forward to this. I might even do a video for you with some impressions from there. And then I have 1 week of summer holidays just for me and the kids, because my husband has to go and work. And then the next week, the third week, my kids go to a camp, so they're not even home, and my husband has to work full time. I only have to work half time, so I maybe get some reading time in there and hope I can finish most of my TBR. So yeah, I hope you liked my video, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you and bye!